Good morning, friends, and welcome to Temple Buddhist Center's Sunday Meditation Service. My name is Victor, and I'm honored to be of service this morning. We hope that our service finds each one of you happy and healthy, but please know that if you are struggling in any way, we hope that our service and our Sangha can be a source of refuge for you as we open our hearts to you and to your loved ones. Let's begin this morning with 3 conscious breaths. A conscious breath is where you seal the mouth, breathe deeply through the nose, hold that breath for just a moment or two, and then release slowly so that the exhale is longer than the inhale. Let's begin. Holding that breath for a moment, feeling the fullness of the lungs, and releasing slowly. And as you release, checking in with the body. What's most present in the body right now? What is most alive in the form at this moment? We embrace the truth of what is present in this moment instead of our thoughts about the way we wish things were. And a second conscious breath together. Holding that breath for a moment. And releasing. And as you release, I invite you to give yourself permission to unplug from that energy of going and doing and getting ready this morning and taking care of loved ones, perhaps driving here. And as you release that connection to the energy of going and doing, we take a moment to embrace the energy of being. That energy that requires nothing of us is a boundless, endless source of vitality, energy, awareness. And a third conscious breath together. Holding that breath for a moment. And releasing. And as you release, I invite you to bring into your awareness now the present moment. The present moment might seem like a small increment of time, but it has no beginning and no end, and we are always arriving in the here and the now. And so we like to begin our services here at TBC with a little bit of chanting. Chanting is an integral part of every tradition. Chanting is not about being a singer. Chanting is about having a voice. It is about a deeply devotional expression of that which is most sacred for you and sharing that with the world. It's also an opportunity to unite with our voices as well as our consciousness. And so our chant today, Om Shanti Sat Chitananda. You might recognize Om, the seed sound. In the Sanskrit tradition, Om is the sound of the universe, reminding each one of us that we are a beautiful note in a grand cosmic symphony forever playing. Shanti in Sanskrit means peace. And Sat Chitananda is a 3-part word that represents truth, consciousness, and bliss. And I felt moved today to dedicate our chant to the people in Europe who are suffering from the difficulties and challenges of war. And so both the Ukrainians as well as many of the Russians who are not awake, who do not understand what's going on and what's happening and are confused. So I thought we would dedicate our chant this morning to that. And so we'll invite Rochelle to tone us in. We'll take a conscious breath together. Together. Om Shanti Satchitananda. 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 Once more. Om Shanti Satchitananda. And so once again, we want to welcome you and remind you that there are cushions up front. For those of you that like to sit on a cushion, you're welcome to do either or both. At the altar at the back of the meditation hall are listening devices. So if you would like to take advantage of those devices, please do. Also, there are tissues and throat lozengers all back there at the back altar. And we also want to welcome all of our friends joining us from all around the world, our Sangha, both near and far. And even though their bodies may be miles and miles away, their hearts are right here with us. Here at Temple Buddhist Center, we practice Western Buddhism. Western Buddhism is a blend of Eastern philosophy and Western psychology, and this new and exciting form of spirituality is dynamic, it is inclusive, it is active, and it focuses on core Buddhist insights, including mindfulness, meditation, and their practical applications in our daily lives. Our goal here is not to get everyone to agree on a specific lineage or philosophy or sect of Buddhism, but rather it is on a shared experience of mindfulness, oneness, and love. Whether we are chanting together, spending time in noble silence, or sharing from the heart, we respect that you will participate at a level that is comfortable for you. We take refuge in the three jewels and acknowledge these core values as expressions of the awakened mind, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We value awareness of our Buddha nature, as well as the Buddha nature of all beings, bringing a fresh new perspective to each and every encounter. And the second jewel of the Dharma is the Dharma itself, the truth teachings that release us from fear and delusion and help us to realize the true nature of who we are. And finally, Sangha. Sangha is the third jewel, our spiritual community, where we come together to practice the teachings with each other and to help each other along every step of the path. So let's take a moment now to silence any cell phones or electronic devices as we prepare for a time in meditation and contemplation. So we're going to begin with the prayer of refuge, and then from there we'll move into noble silence. And so the prayer of refuge is on the screen behind me here and also on the overlay on our stream. And so we will recite this 3 times for the 3 jewels. Together. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. And so as we prepare now for a time in meditation, if you have an extensive practice, then we invite you to practice in a way that is fitting for you this morning. If you are new to meditation, then we will begin with a dedication of intention. We will awaken the bell 3 times for the 3 jewels. And then our teacher today, Mr. Robert Brumet, will lead us in a guided meditation that's designed to assist you in moving into the stillness. We will spend approximately 10 to 12 minutes this morning in noble silence, connecting with each other in consciousness. Afterwards, Robert will gently and lovingly bring us out of meditation. We will sound the return bell, and then it will be time for today's Dharma talk, or teaching. And so with that, let's begin with a conscious breath. Body, speech, and mind in perfect oneness. I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. May the hearers awaken from forgetfulness, transcend the path of anxiety and sorrow, and realize the true nature of who they are.
As we listen to the sound of the bell, receding into the silence, we follow in its path as we recede into the silence of our own beingness, starting right where we are. Just noticing your experience in this moment. Your thoughts, your emotions, hearing, sensing the body. Noticing whatever you're experiencing right now, just observing it, sensing it. So we begin with awareness of what's here right now. And then we add to the awareness the practice of acceptance or equanimity. Just allowing everything to be as it is in our experience in this moment. Awareness of our present moment experience in each moment, and acceptance, making it okay to be, to feel right where you are. We let go of identifying with the mind that wants to fix, solve, plan. The monkey mind, the chatterbox mind. We don't try to silence it, we just listen and let it be. We don't believe it, we don't fight with it, we just let it be. Likewise with our emotions and with the sensations in the body. We don't try to control. We just notice and accept. Being with what's here right now. Making peace with our experience right now. Noticing any conflict or resistance that we experience in the body or in the mind or in the heart. And just let it be what it is, but just becoming aware of it. Noticing resistance, tension. Just letting it be. Breath by breath. We brighten our awareness. And we increase our acceptance of this moment as we experience it right now, right here. Breath by breath. Awareness, acceptance, being, just being. keeping our awareness focused on the present moment experience, feeling the sensations in the body, being aware of hearing, being aware of thinking and feeling, feeling the floor beneath your feet or beneath your bottom if you're on the cushion. Feeling the chair, the bench, the cushion. Feeling the air on your skin. Opening to hearing. In a moment, you will hear the sound of the bell. I invite you to listen carefully to the sound of the bell. And as that sound slowly recedes into the silence, I invite you to gently open your eyes. Continue your practice with the eyes open. Well, good morning. Happy May Day. May Day. May Day. As you may know, May Day, May Day, May Day is a international distress signal. And it means that unless immediate intervention takes place, a disaster is about to occur. Unless immediate intervention takes place, a disaster is about to occur. Do you know of any world where that might be true? We don't have to go too far. Now, the disaster is probably not an asteroid. Well, maybe it is, but there's other disasters that are more immediate. And it's easy to not look up or to cover our eyes or to whatever it is. But our practice is looking at what is, being totally honest, not creating a story of gloom and doom, not making a big drama out of it. We're not writing a movie script here. We're simply looking at what is. And when we look at what is with honesty, clarity, and acceptance, then we can choose what to do next. But as long as we're reacting, as long as we're reacting out of fear, as long as we're reacting out of some story, then we feed the drama and we go deeper into the crisis. So I won't stand up here or sit up here and read off a list of crises, but I will pick the top 5, maybe the most immediate 5 of a list of many. Climate change, you know, we're all aware of that and the impact of that. Scientists discover something called looping, which means there's several positive feedback cycles in the environmental system, which means that the warmer it gets, the rate of warming increases. So it's not only getting warmer, but it's getting warmer faster and faster. The rate is constantly increasing, which means that it's unpredictable as to exactly what's going to happen when. Pollution, we don't hear that word too much anymore. We used to hear a lot of it in the 60s, 70s, and the 80s, but it's still with us. About 1 billion people on this planet do not have access to fresh drinking water. It's something we take for granted. And today, babies in this country and other countries are being born with significant amounts of microplastics in their body. Microplastics are tiny bits of plastic about the size of a grain of sand. Babies are born. This is, you could say, if it's in an adult body, it's because we drink out of plastic bottles, et cetera, et cetera. But these are newborn babies. So the pollution, the poisoning, if you will, goes very deep and is very intrinsic in our very way we live. We're all aware of COVID. We wish we weren't. We wished it would go away. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. That's what we live with, you see. Some feel like our democracy might be in peril. Several historians liken this period to just before the Civil War. Again, don't want to forecast or predict, but it's important to recognize what's going on. And of course, the war in Ukraine, the possibility of a wider war, World War III, a nuclear war, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, just to take an inventory of what's here in our planet today, the world we call home. I want to read to you something from the Buddhist world. Actually comes from the Tibetan Buddhist community. This was a prophecy that was written about 1,200 years ago, over 1,000 years ago. It's called the Shambhala prophecy. And I read it, and this is an excerpt. It's long. It's too long to read the whole thing. But it says, "There will come a time when all life on earth is in danger. In this era, great barbarian forces will arise which have unfathomable destructive power. New, unforeseen technologies will appear during this time with the potential to lay waste to the entire world. In this era, when the future of sentient life seems to hang by the balance, by the frailest of threads, the kingdom of Shambhala will appear." The kingdom of Shambhala is not a geopolitical place, but a place that exists in the hearts and the minds of the Shambhala warrior. These warriors wear no special uniform, nor do they have titles or ranks. They have no workplace. Their work is everywhere. They look just like everyone else on the outside, but they hold the kingdom of Shambhala on the inside. Now the time comes when great courage is required of the Shambhala warriors. The time comes when they must go into the very heart of the barbarian power, into the buildings, offices, factories, and centers of learning where the weapons of destruction are made. going into them in order to dismantle them. The tools of the Shambhala warriors are compassion for all and knowledge of the interconnectedness of all things. Both are necessary. Within each Shambhala warrior, these two tools, compassion and insight, or wisdom as we call it, can sustain you as agents of wholesome change. They are gifts for you to claim and share now in healing our world. That was written over 12 centuries ago. So, regardless of your take on prophecies, I think we can all agree that it's time for action to take place. But we've been taking action for a long time. It seems like every action creates more problems. Every problem today was once a solution to a former problem. And so every solution creates problems for the future. Einstein is famous for this particular quote. He says, "No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it." No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. So we have to find a new approach because we're locked into our old way of being. We meaning the whole world. Just imagine, for example, that you lived in a two-dimensional world. Imagine that you lived on like a piece of paper, flat land. That's all you know is this direction and this direction. Then suddenly somebody says, "Watch out, there's an asteroid coming." Where's it coming from? This way or this way? No, it's coming from up. What do you mean up? There is no up, you say. And so we need to look at that inner direction, that level of consciousness that knows what we don't even know that we don't know today. And that direction that we're not looking, when we resolve or try to resolve our problems, is that direction of inward. We look everywhere around for a solution except for the people that created the problem, you see. That new dimension is the dimension inward. We look at what, how, when, where, why, and we try to fix the world around us. And I say again, we, this is you and I as individuals, you and I as governments, nations, organizations, whatever you say. Whenever there's a problem, the first thing we do is we say, they ought to. Somebody should. Why don't we? Why don't they? So what if we all first started by looking up from the flat land, which means looking in from our dimension, you see. We live in 4 dimensions, time, space, time and space. Space is 3 dimensions and time is the 4th. But the 5th dimension is looking inward. And that's the only place we can find the solution. You see, we can't find the solution in time or space. We can only find the solution in the place that created the problem in the beginning. So that's where the Dharma practice is so powerful, because we begin by looking within. In fact, we recognize that it is from within ourselves that we create everything that appears to be outside of us. And until we come to see, understand, and accept what's going on within us, we won't be able to see clearly enough to resolve the issues outside of us. If there's a war going on within, there's going to somewhere, sooner or later, be a war going on without. And so our work is to look at the wars that are going on within us, that are taking place within us. Not stop there, but that's the first place. So I'm not saying we should ignore the world and gaze at our navels, as sometimes people accuse meditators of doing. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying be in the world fully, taking action in the world. But first we look at the dimension from which the world comes. We have to look at the cause and not the effect. We've been looking at the effect and trying to fix the external, which is kind of like going to a movie that's you don't like, so you try to run up and change the picture on the screen rather than recognize that you can leave the movie if you don't like it. You can go watch another one or create your own or do whatever you want to do. So the Dharma practice is a paradigm shift. We recognize what's going on internally. We look at it from a place of peace and non-judgment. We look at our own experience. And then we enter into that place of what Suzuki Roshi called the beginner's mind. The beginner's mind is that open place where all things are possible. What was there before the Big Bang? You know, that's the question that the scientists are puzzling over now. To me, the answer is the beginner's mind was there. The beginner's mind is always there before any creation takes place. So when we let go of our preoccupation with the outer world first, we look first within. Now, one question may arise, is anybody doing this? Well, there's quite a number of people that are doing this, and typically this doesn't make the headlines because the newspapers, the media, is very much in the old world of trying to look at only the appearances of things. There's some work being done, and I don't have time to go into it, but it's quite fascinating, by a number of individuals that are looking at new paradigms for leadership in the world. One that I'm just finished reading some time ago was a work by Otto Scharmer, who's a German scholar, teaches at MIT, I believe. And his book, one of his books, is called Theory U, Leading from the Future as It Emerges. And what he says is that anytime we fail to look at ourselves, we are leading from the past. Because anytime we simply use the brain and not the heart, all we're doing is digging into our memory and looking at all the old moldy tools and ideas that didn't work before and trying to get them to work again, you see. So Theory U is one that leads by looking first within. And so the whole process involves a shift in management theory, but the heart of it is going within and finding what he calls presence. It's a process called presencing, which basically is meditation. He doesn't call it meditation, he doesn't call it guidance, but essentially that's what it is, working in groups, in communities, as a sangha. So there's a great deal of power that can take place. There's a fact, I think it has to take place that way, in which we come together with the intention of resolving the issues of the world, but we come together first looking within, taking that first step first and foremost. I'll finish with a quick story from Nasruddin, one of my favorite people. Nasruddin is a Sufi character. He's a strange, foolish wisdom teacher. And one night, Nasruddin is out under the street lamp looking around. And the constable, the police officer, comes by and says, "Well, what are you doing, Nasruddin?" And he says, "I'm looking for my keys. I lost my keys. I can't get in my home." And so he's wandering around under the lamp, and the officer says, "Where did you lose them?" And Nasruddin says, "Over there." And the policeman says, "Well, why are you looking here if you lost them over there?" And Nasruddin says, "This is where the light is." You see? And that's exactly what we do, you see. Both the cause and the solution is in the place where we don't know that we don't know. But we look under the lamp, the only lamp that we know. And we can't find the solution under that lamp, and we keep walking around and around in circles. And we need to stop and do what we've been practicing here this morning, and hopefully will be a part of your life for a long time to come. So we're running short on time. I think I need to finish right now. So the best to you, and a beautiful and blessed day to you.
Thank you so much, Robert. So let's take a moment to just embody the teachings instead of trying to analyze, synthesize, figure out, remember, record. We just feel the truth of the teachings, what parts resonated for you. As Nicoya often mentions, the Dharma talk is much like a warm rain, and the drops that fall on you are for you, and the drops that do not are for someone else. And so it is also certainly understandable to shift posture or make some micro adjustments or stretch or take a breath as we move into heart practice. And so a heart practice is not an intellectual, conceptual practice. This is an opportunity to open our hearts. And oftentimes with metta or loving kindness practice, many folks like to, for example, incorporate an outward gesture. It might be placing a hand on a heart. It might be the Anjali Mudra, which is a focusing of the heart energy. Even just both hands cupped together in your lap. Whatever works for you as a way to perhaps provide soothing touch or some sort of an expression as we move into metta practice. So we will begin with a conscious breath. And as you release, I invite you to bring to mind the image of you. A full body image of the form that has been given your name and that has accrued the many experiences over the years. And holding this image in your mind's eye, recite silently to yourself these words of metta practice. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I be well in body and mind. And may I be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And as you release, I invite you to bring to mind now the image of a friend of yours. And holding this image in your mind's eye, let us open our hearts as we send metta. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in body and mind. And may you be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And as you release that sentiment into the universe, I invite you now to bring to mind the image of an acquaintance, perhaps a clerk or a cashier from earlier this week, a passerby, a new classmate or coworker. And holding this image in your mind's eye, let us open our hearts as we send metta. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in body and mind. And may you be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And as we release that sentiment into the universe, I invite you now to bring to mind the image of a difficult person in your life, a challenging person, perhaps a boss or a co-worker, a neighbor, classmate, or a political figure. And holding this image in your mind's eye, let us open our hearts as we send loving kindness. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in body and mind. And may you be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And as you release that sentiment into the universe, I invite you now to bring to mind the image of the world, all the plants and the flowers and the trees, animals of the land, the sea, the sky, and all sentient beings, including ourselves. Holding this image in our mind's eye, let us send to us all metta. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be safe from inner and outer dangers. May we be well in body and mind. And may we be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And in the true spirit of Dana, the Buddhist practice of generosity, temple services here are given freely. In the same way, if you choose to give, please give with a generous heart, which means not in return for anything that you have received today, but rather so that those who may be seeking refuge may find it here with this temple, with this Sangha, these teachers, and these teachings. And so we take, and the Dana boxes are located at the back of the meditation hall. And we take a moment of gratitude for all of our ambassadors, those folks who've committed themselves to regular monthly electronic giving. It's not about the amount, it's just that the regular monthly giving helps us to set a budget here at TBC. Also, tremendous gratitude for all of our amazing volunteers who work so hard each and every day to bring more opportunities for spiritual enrichment and opportunities for Sangha to come together. We are truly grateful to all of our wonderful volunteers, and especially happy continuation day to Eric, our media wizard, and to David and so many others of our Sangha who are celebrating what we often call birthdays, but in the Buddhist practice, it's happy continuation day, because who you truly are was never born and will never die. So we are very grateful to them for all their efforts and the work that they do. Tremendous gratitude to Rochelle for your wonderful music, and I love your new haircut. It's really cute. And tremendous gratitude to Robert for your friendship, your mentorship, all that you do for Temple Buddhist Center to help our community thrive. And especially thank you to each and every one of you for your heart, for sharing your presence, for sharing your practice with us here at Temple Buddhist Center. We are the better for it. And so as we prepare now for our dedication, our bodhicitta dedication, wait, I'm not done. It's a couple more of you. There you go. Then we will recite this together. Oh, wait. I forgot the heavenly abodes. So we will recite our bodhicitta together, and then I have just a couple of announcements, not a whole lot, just a few. So together, may the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. And with our hands together in front of our hearts, as we go forth now from this place, may we enter each moment in innocence, guided by the wisdom of our hearts. And as we open our hands, open our eyes, shine our light into the world, namaste. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. Today is First Sundays, so that means helping hands. So as you exit the meditation hall, out in the lobby or the narthex, the other part over there, should be tables with little blue bags on them. Please take one. Those bags are filled with all kinds of necessities so that as you move around the city today or in the next few days, if you encounter a person experiencing homelessness, you can give them one of these bags. There's water and there's granola, there's socks, sometimes there's gloves, toothbrushes, things like that in there that can be of tremendous help. So thank you so much for everything that you do to help those in our community who are less fortunate. Also, today is the first day that Unity Temple as a whole, including Temple Buddhist Center, is once again beginning our fellowship program. So there is coffee and cookies downstairs in Unity Hall for you. So if you would like to find a table and connect with people, don't be shy. Just walk up and say hello and make some new friends. Also, the post-service discussion group still meets just as you go out the meditation hall, turn to your left in the Heritage Room, and that is also offered virtually for those folks who want to join on Zoom. And so the post-service discussion group takes the message of the day and allows people a platform to talk about it and apply it to their own lives. And so also finally, just a quick note, again, a reminder about our upcoming retreat. There are several ways to attend the retreat. You can attend residentially, and so there are rooms that are available to the retreatants. We will be there from Wednesday through Saturday. You could also attend as a commuter, so you just come in the morning and then go home at night. You can also attend as a virtual retreatant through Zoom. All of the registration page is open and available. I do know that some people have mentioned that when they go to the registration page, sometimes it might give you a 404 error code, but we checked it several times, and if you just try it once or twice more, it should come up no problem. We think that it might have been a glitch on the other end at the PushPay site. Just a quick reminder that for residential, we are really needing you to reserve your room. May 4th is kind of the soft deadline, but we really need you to get it reserved. If you're doing virtual or commuter, you don't have a deadline. You can continue to sign up almost within 2 or 3 days of the retreat. But if you're going to reserve a room, we have to give the rooms back to the retreat center that are not going to be taken. So with all that being said, there's just some other things. Don't forget Buddhism in 12-step occurs at 12:30 today. We have Buddha and the Bean every Tuesday morning. Both Matt and Karen do such a wonderful job of facilitating coffee and discussion about the practice. And so that is also, just stop by our website, templebuddhistcenter.com, or the Facebook page. So again, thank you all so much for being here, and I wish you peace and blessings as you go into your day.